Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Asia Gore. President Trump's decision to pull the U.S. out of the Iranian nuclear deal, creating an uproar in Iran. Some Iranian lawmakers set a U.S. flag ablaze at Parliament. CBS's Laura Podesta has more.
Hours after President Trump walked away from the Iran nuclear deal, Iranian lawmakers set a paper American flag ablaze and chanted "Death to America." Iran's supreme leader tweeted, U.S. President's shallow and ludicrous behavior wasn't unexpected. The same behavior existed in previous U.S. presidents.
At the heart of the Iran deal was a giant fiction that a murderous regime desired only a peaceful nuclear energy program.
Mr. Trump declared he had definitive proof that Iran violated the 2015 agreement aimed at freezing the country's nuclear ambitions, but he produced no evidence. The U.S. will now reimpose crippling sanctions against the country. National Security Advisor John Bolton spoke today on CBS This Morning.
That'll have a significant ripple effect on Iran's economy. And I think it demonstrates that we're determined that we're not going to rely on paper promises. We're going to rely on real performance.
Iranian President Hassan Rouhani warned that his country could restart its nuclear activities within weeks, which could lead to turmoil in the region.
I think Iran is bringing us closer to war with its belligerent activity in Iraq and Syria.
The leaders of the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, who urged the U.S. to stay in the deal, issued a joint statement that expressed regret and concern about the decision. President Trump has signaled he is open to renegotiations, but Iran may be unwilling to come to the table. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
And the president of Iran says world powers still in the accord could potentially save the pact, even without the U.S. Meanwhile, 3 Americans held as prisoners in North Korea are on their way home today. President Trump made the announcement hours ago. It could mean a major breakthrough in U.S.-North Korean relations. This morning, President Trump tweeted Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is on his way back from North Korea with, quote, 3 wonderful gentlemen. The names of the men were not released, but we're told they are a businessman and 2 teachers. President Trump and Kim Jong-un are planning a face-to-face meeting. In other news today, investigators near Detroit, Michigan are set to resume the search for the remains of up to 7 girls missing for decades. Detectives are following up on new information from a convicted killer. In 2008, Arthur Ream led authorities to the remains of another girl who went missing in 1979. When Ream was charged with that girl's murder, he was already in prison serving a 15-year sentence for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. Now, law enforcement is searching the area in hopes of finding 7 other victims. Here in Montana, a federal jury just handed down a guilty verdict for a man accused of a fatal stabbing in East Glacier last year. The jury in U.S. District Court in Great Falls has convicted William Arocha Jr. of the lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter. He had been charged with second-degree murder. Authorities say Arocha stabbed Shane LaPlante 25 times, killing him. Prosecutors rested their case Tuesday after showing the jury a recorded interview where Arocha tells an investigator he stabbed the victim. Arocha testified that he does not remember much of the night in question. Prosecutors say this case is not about a heat of passion. It was premeditated murder. A Ravalli County man faces charges after authorities found what appears to be a homemade explosive device in his motel room in Darby. Authorities made contact Tuesday with 35-year-old Nicholas Armenden for an outstanding warrant on a different offense. When deputies went to retrieve Armenden's personal belongings from his room at the Budget Inn, they found the device. The room was secured and the motel evacuated. Explosives technicians and a canine unit assisted in the search. Investigators believe all devices have been recovered. There's no indication that additional devices are in the community. An assault outside a downtown Missoula bar this weekend allegedly involved a pair of Grizz student athletes. Police were dispatched to the bar on Front Street around 1:30 Saturday morning. Police received a report that 2 males were assaulted outside the bar by 2 other males identified as Grizz athletes. The 2 victims were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. University of Montana leadership says it's investigating. A Billings transient most noted for making a home high up in the rims has died. Authorities say 62-year-old Gordon Ray Harris was found on a downtown sidewalk Saturday morning. Harris appears to have died of natural causes. The The coroner reports Harris had previous heart conditions. Harris told MTN News in 2016 that he suffered a bout of pneumonia every winter since he had been evicted from his apartment 4 years ago. There's no word if that played a role in his death. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers now assisting in the search for a man who disappeared after jumping into a river to rescue someone near Wolf Point. Jason Azure went in the Missouri River April 27th to help 2 people who were struggling. The 2 in the water made it out, but Azure did not. According to a press release, the COE planned to reduce the flow from Fort Peck Dam at 8 this morning through Thursday morning. Searchers hope the reduction in water will help expose areas currently underwater. Due to flood conditions on the Milk River, the flow reduction is only limited to the 24-hour window. As western Montana copes with major flooding, Governor Steve Bullock toured some of the hardest hit areas in the Helena Valley on Tuesday. Lewis and Clark County officials briefed Governor Bullock and Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney on the situation. The county is using 2 large pumps to divert floodwaters down a ditch system toward Lake Helena. Bullock says he's impressed with the efforts of volunteers, but he wants the state to stay in close contact with the county so it can provide any additional help. And meanwhile, the flooding across Missoula County turned into more mandatory evacuations Tuesday afternoon. Nearly 1,000 homes are located in flood watch areas. Already this spring, the Clark Fork River is at its highest flood stage in more than 40 years. And experts say it's only going to get worse as the Clark Fork, Bitterroot, and Blackfoot rivers continue to rise. On that note, we turn now to the weather scene with Ed McIntosh. And Ed, how's that situation looking across the state?
Yeah, the problem now is that we have some warmer temperatures. We're going to shift it to cooler readings, and that may help. But then we've got rain on top of things that will add to the amount of moisture, and then even some snow for the higher elevations. For this afternoon, we're watching this area through southwest and south central Montana for the potential of strong to severe storms. Gusty winds likely being the biggest culprit in those shaded regions, and some of those showers have already started to develop across central and western Montana. But as we take it ahead, again, there's the green shaded area that we're going to be targeting, and you can see later in the afternoon some of those stronger cells could certainly develop, especially through central and western Montana through the afternoon, and then shift as rain showers into northeastern Montana tonight. Closer look at the forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ed. We'll check back in. Law enforcement from across the county will celebrate Law Enforcement Memorial Day next week. Broadwater County Deputy Mason Moore will be honored at the ceremony in Washington, D.C., and his family and friends will attend. That's why Montana law enforcement officials decided to celebrate Memorial Day Tuesday in Three Forks. Honor guards were posted at both the Mason Moore and David DeLate memorials, as both were remembered for paying the ultimate price in the line of duty. Memorial Day isn't just about them, however, it's about their families and the greater law enforcement community.
Sometimes the unmentioned or the forgotten victims in all of this, and that's our families. Our families cringe when bad news comes because they sit and wait for the worst news. Was it our loved one? Even though it may be not, they feel helpless, but yet they're in the same boat that we are, that they want to help.
After passing the 2 memorials, the procession traveled through Three Forks, where it was greeted by students. Still to come on the Noon News, the volcanic eruption in Hawaii now creating new danger for residents. Details about the air impact next. First, Ed has our weather forecast. Stay tuned.
You're watching MTN News with Asia Gore. Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and farm and ranch news from the Northern Egg Network. This is the Noon News on Q2, Montana's news leader.